Hi, I'm Sean. This is my first playlist to Darkest Hour Hearts of Iron game. I'm going to start in 1933, Day of Decision, and I'm going to play as Germany, and I'm going to try and conquer the world. Please, if you got any ideas or suggestions or strategies that you want me to follow, I'm welcome that. You can always learn something from this, and it's going to be a big attempt by me. I'm also going to keep these videos, each of these videos, at least 20 minutes, no longer than that, and I'm going to do a video every 2 or 3 days. So yeah, let's get started. 1933, Day of Decision. I'm going to keep all the options the same. I'm not going to change them. So let's get started. Okay, we're at the opening screen. Yeah, I'm just going to pause it. Okay, so this is my opening strategy for 1933. The first thing I like to do is go to the Decisions tab, and I like to purge the army. The reason I do this is because it gives you a 3% morale. Even though it changes your national dissident by 2%, it gives you a 3%, all your land units. And for me, 3% is huge. 3% helps your organization recover much quicker. So, but there's a risk to this, because when you do this, it'll purge a whole lot of leaders in your army. And it can be 3, it can be 5, it can be 10. And it can dismiss all, like Rommel can be just, well, Rommel's not available now, but it can dismiss a whole lot of leaders that you might need later. So it's a risk you take. So give me whole thumbs up for me. You say, yeah, guys, I'm going to go for it. So who've I lost? Heinz, Furlow, Gladson, Jensen, Stimmel, Graf, and Versters. Doesn't look like I lost anybody important. Okay, so luckily, and not too many leaders. I hope. So there we go. Alright, all these guys have died. I hope I don't need them later, eh? Alright, the second thing I like to do is issue currency. And the reason why I do this is because I want to, in my intelligence, let me just give you an idea. The intelligence, I will need 581 funds to get my next level in intelligence. And intelligence in the beginning of the game is important that you get your levels up, because the AI hammers you on that. And I also need money for this economic recovery policy, which costs 500 rands, 500 units of money. So I'll need to, I only do this twice. It does damage your industrial efficiency, and your national descent is changed by 1%, but I do it twice in order to just get this up as quick as possible. So I think it's worth it. I don't know what you guys think about it, but I'm going to go for a more improved budget. Then the next thing I want to do is go to the diplomacy tab. I always just change this leader and I get this guy, because he gives a influence nation chance for democracies of 15% and a 5% for dictatorships to influence their governments. I like to take him. It increases my dissident again. The reason I like to take him is because the AI in this game, even though it's a historical game, and this is, I learned this the hard way, even though it's historical and the countries will go to war with you generally at historical times, it's not always the case. I've had Russia go to war with me in 1940 and 1939. If the AI from Russia sees that I'm pretty weak, or my relations with them are bad, they will declare war with me during that time. So the AI is, pretty formidable. You've got to just keep your eyes open. So I use this guy over here. He helps me with the influence. So during this peaceful period up to 1939, I'm constantly, if I've got some extra money, I will influence him so that his relations with me stays, at an acceptable level. I've had many surprises with him. And then I also like to take this guy and put the crime fighter in. And the reason I want to put this, I get a 10% reduction in my consumer goods need. And the reason for that is that it reduces my consumer goods need in my nation. They don't want such a high consumer goods. This gives me more IC to build factories while it's peaceful. And the whole key for me in this game, in the peaceful period up to 1939, is to build ICs while I've got a chance. You're pretty safe during this period from these countries over here, like France and that, because they're democracies. and democracies can't declare war with you unless your belligerence level is very, very high. So you, in this period up to 1939, you can say you're pretty safe. It's not always guaranteed, but you're pretty safe from going to war with them. So I will definitely want to, reduce my industrial capacity as much as I can. I do change these other leaders a bit later, but I'll come back to them when I do change them and the reasons why I'm going to do that. Then my economy, I always like to keep this on auto. I like to highlight my production, and I like to keep the reinforcements off and the upgrades off, because I don't want the AI to suck reinforcements from me now. My manpower is very small. I don't want it to do it right now. And on the auto control, I will ask the AI to stockpile oil and money. Money is important in the game in the beginning, because money you need for your intelligence. You want to get your intelligence as high as possible during peaceful times, so that the AI doesn't, the enemy AI doesn't interdict you, and not interdict you, but it doesn't disrupt your production, and his chances of missions against you are as little as possible. So I want to get money so I can raise that. And further, and oil. Germany doesn't have a lot of oil, in this game. So I want to make sure that he's not giving oil away that we do get. That's all I do there, and I make sure that the trades is at 60% so that it offers decent trades. I'll come back to the screen in a minute. So that's my technology. I want to start with, on the industrial side, I want to start with early decryption devices. This is always a useful technology throughout the game. It's increasing your surprise chances, and it's 1923. I'll pick this guy here because he's got this mathematics, and it requires 4 of them, and he doesn't have that, but he's a 7, and it's a 1923 dog, so he will blitz through that. I'll start him on that. Okay, and on land doctrines, I'm always looking for the armored division. I want to get that out of the way as soon as possible. I'll pick this Heinz Guderian, because armored divisions enable you then to start being able, you can build divisions now, not just have brigades. It's very important. It's a 1934 tech, but I like to just get that out the way. There's nothing on the naval doctrines that I want to look at right now. They're all 1936 techs. I don't want to sit and discover them now in 1933. It'll take too long. Air doctrines, air superiority is very important. The effects on morale and organization is important. And it's 1933 tech, so we are in 1933. So I'm going to pick this guy here is a number 8. He covers all these little, all these training boxes here. He's covered that, and he's a high skill, so he will burn through that. Aircraft, seaplanes are very important in this game for your navy. It doesn't go, it goes up to 1941, but they help your navy with the search, and they give your navy better range. Seaplanes, trust me, seaplanes are important. I like to develop this very early. And get that out of the way, so I'll put a 9 on him. It'll burn through that very, very quick. And the carrier air groups for your light carriers and your aircraft carriers. And I want to develop a navy. I believe that a naval strategy, and let me just go to the map. A naval strategy is important for Germany. Even though maybe it wasn't then at that time, I think it's very important to develop a good German navy, especially with the British. Later years, 1946, if you survive after that, to have a decent navy to compete with Britain and especially America. But more importantly, I want a good navy for down here in the Mediterranean in 1941 and 42. The AI, I've learned this the hard way. The AI, the British here, you can't just build convoys and troop ships and then send them down here, send Rommel down to North Africa to help the Italians here. Because the British AI, the British Navy will interdict it. And I promise you, they've got, and I've learned this the hard way, they've got aircraft carriers down here and everything. So you want to have a pretty decent Navy down here to be able to escort these convoys that you're going to send down to North Africa. So that's one of the main reasons also that I develop a good navy early on. I want a good navy to go down there. Yeah, so we're here. So I'm going to look for a CAG. Yeah, I'm going to pick this guy here. He's a 7 and he covers all the bits and pieces for that CAG. And also it's a 1922 tech, so it'll go through quickly. So in order for me to get an aircraft carrier, I have to discover that, I have to go down this light carrier path. I'll also make light aircraft carriers because they're cheap as well. But not many of them. I'll have one aircraft carrier on the top and 2 light carriers and an aircraft carrier and a light carrier at the bottom and an escort carrier as well to help down there in North Africa. So yeah, I'm going to pick him and I'm just going to check here. Yeah, I'm going to pick this guy. He's number 7 and he will carry on with a light carrier. And then I'm going to pick a battleship, a 1934 battleship. I'm going to pick him as a 1970. Yeah. The reason I'm picking because I like to also have a good battleship. I want to have a good battleship, a decent battleship. I don't go through all these texts right up to 47-foot battleships. But I want to have, Germany has not good battleships to start the game with. So I want to have some kind of decent battleship. And I don't want to spend too much time on this tree of taking all these battleships. I get a good decent one. So there he is there. So that's my technology opening thing. Yeah, so on the intelligence, I'm gonna enable the auto spying, and I'm just gonna check that everything. I'm gonna edit the settings. Let me just make it so it's edit by default. I'm gonna start with Yugoslavia. Everything there I'm happy with. The USA is the only change that I will make. I will just make sure that I add a nuclear sabotage mission to them. Doesn't do it early, but later on, I might just forget. In this game, I'm always forgetting stuff. So, but later on, I want definitely the AI when America gets nuclear bombs, I want him to interdict those. I also want to do some for the British and apply their changes. I'm also going to increase the smear campaign against the British, the chances of that, because it affects their dissident level, and dissident affects your entire industry. So I want smear campaigns are good missions to have the AI do against these other countries. Yeah, I'm going to leave everybody the same here. In Russia, I'm also going to put here by nuclear sabotage, because they will also develop nuclear bombs just in case, and also increase his industrial espionage. On the French, I'm going to increase the priority of the AI, my intelligence, so that the AI does more missions against French. I think that's just force too low. The French are pretty much a force in the beginning of the game. Not a big one, but they're much bigger than Poland and all these other places like Yugoslavia. And I just want to do more missions against them. And I'm going to make the smear campaign as 5. And I'm going to leave the sabotage industry as 10 and 8. I think that's pretty much covered it. These other ones like Brazil, I think this is important. They've got 2 priorities. So the AI will occasionally do a mission and coup their nations. They can help you down there. Maybe get a better government that supports you down there. I'm just going to add 2 more countries. I'm going to add Czechoslovakia and I'm going to add Poland. These guys, they clap you. They do all kinds of missions against you. So I want to keep them in check. I want to make sure that they're not strong countries, but I want to make sure I'm doing missions against them, because they don't fail to do missions against you. I mean, they go for it. And they sometimes successful. I mean, I've had Czechoslovakia and Poland have successful smear campaigns against me and mess up my production. So I'm going to apply that. That's the way I want to do it. And Czechoslovakia. Nobody else. I mean, I don't have Belgium in here. Belgium also likes to do a whole lot of missions against you and mess around with your production and stuff like that. But Belgium is such a small guy. I don't really, and I don't want to have too many. Yeah, okay, that's great. I've covered that, so I think that covers all my guys missions I want to get. Auto spying, here I want to increase this to 200. I've learned this the hard way that the game has events that come up that require 200 money, and you don't have enough money. So I want to make sure that the AI only does missions when it's over 200 units of money. And that's about it. That's all I want to do over here. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that these provinces have at least 80 infrastructure. I'm going to build that because infrastructure is important. It's an important aspect for all your provinces, because when these other countries like Britain that bomb those provinces and your infrastructure is low, your infrastructure enables your boats that are in there and the factories that are there, enables them to recover quickly and rebuild up and repair those things better. So infrastructure is important, but I don't go and do the whole. I mean, a lot of places, yeah, Germany has got very low infrastructure. You could sit here and spend your whole queue building up all the infrastructure, and this takes away from your factory. So I only do it in a few places, like there, and also in Essen. I also want that because I'm going to build factories there, and Kubis. I want to actually at least have 100 infrastructure there. So there's all my infrastructure. Then I want to start with some factories, and in Berlin I add 5 factories because I want to build Berlin up. And in Kubis, they're a little bit far from the front, so that's great. I want to make them 9. I want to have 10 factories there. So I want to, for future, have a lot of factories over there. Okay, so now that's done over there. Then I also want to put some airfields here at Tier. I want to add 5 airfields there. I'm going to add 5 there and 4 there. That's just preparing for an invasion in Poland and preparing later on when I tackle France and the Low Countries. And the reason I'm putting it in Tier, I learned the hard way. I used to put them in Covalence, but the problem is, have a look at this. You got to watch your distances. Darkest Hours added realistic distances between the provinces. So if you look at Covalence and you hover your mouse pointer over it to Bruges, it's 330 kilometers, right? But now you would say that Tier is closer, but it isn't. If you take Tier and you hover it over that same province, it's now 292 kilometers in distance. So this province is further from there than Tier. I learned this the hard way. I was just using the map. I didn't realize they put realistic distances in there. And this is for your air. Mainly I'm doing this because of the airplanes. They've got a very short distance, and I want them to be able to go as far as they can in France to do their missions. Okay, so I've done all the infrastructures. Now I'm going to redeploy this army to Freidelberg and this way to Mainz. So they're just there by French. And I'm going to move him over there. And I'm going to keep him there. And I'm going to put him down here at Opelin. And I'm going to split him up. I'm going to take these horses out. I call them horses, sorry. And I'm going to strategically deploy them there. I'm going to then split this up. I'm going to get rid of I'm going to take out all these transport boats and divide them. Get 2 of them out, and I'm going to put a blockade runner there. I'm going to put this guy here, and I'm going to send him to. This is my opening move, just so I've got everything where I want it, and because I'll need these transport ships later when I want to move divisions down to here for the invasion in Poland. So I just get that done with now. This I split into 2 fleets. I will give them a fairly equal split. With that, and I'll take that, and I'll take Fair Destroyer. I'll take that one. So it's 7. I'll ask. Let me just get this guy. I'll put him in charge there, and I'll move him down here. and this guy here, I'll have this guy in charge of them, and I'll put him over there. So let me just have a look now at my economy. This is my opening screen. I see I can put a yeah, and I'm gonna put that Berlin factory on top and Kobus on top. Yeah, I like to have all my factories on top at all times and my infrastructure down here. I want to move these guys that are one to there. And I want to have all my ones for infrastructure and stuff that comes out first. I want them out of the way first so that these guys can go. And I'm going to add another factory. I always look for 100 the infrastructure when I'm building factories early in the game. I'm wanting the infrastructures to be 100% because it means they'll build those factories. If your infrastructure is lower, it'll take those factories much longer to build. So I'm always making sure I first build I start with my factory building in the provinces that have the highest infrastructure first, and then I work down to the other provinces, like to the ones that are 90, like Düsseldorf and all that sort of things. Now I'm not going to put anything in Düsseldorf until the game updates, so I'm going to run this now so that the game updates midnight. Oh, let me just change the speed down. Okay, till it runs till I get all these changes through. You'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, there we go. Now I want the general elections, so I'm going to pick. You could pick a communist Germany. This is interesting to play. It gives you a massive descent, 40% higher, but I've never tried it. I'll try it another time, but I'm going now with the way it was then, Nazi Germany. I'm going to now change my Hawk policy. Hawk, I'm going to move this down because I like to start early in the game because this gives you later on, as you change this, if you look at my tooltip, it starts to give you production bonuses and production time bonuses. Early in the peaceful years, I want to make sure that I've got as much that I can produce as factories as fast as possible, and everything as fast as leading up to the war years. I want to prohibit the German flag. I want to pass the enabling act. I want to withdraw from the League of Nations. Great. I'm going to now run this. Oh, did I do everything? Yeah. I'm going to now run this. Now, my main focus now during this early period is to get as many factories built, is to get the economic recovery, which costs 500 Rand. So I'm going to wait for this money to get up to 500 Rand. Then I'm going to take the economic recovery policy. Then I'm going to get some more money, and then I'm going to increase my intelligence spending. Very important in the early game. I want to make sure that happens. Before I do that, I just want to check. Okay, so now I've got some more IC. So now I can build a factory in 3 factories in Düsseldorf. I pick 3 factories I pick 3 at a time. The reason why I do this is because these factories all end in 1937. If I pick 3, one after each other, they end in 1937. And I like to just build factories up until the end of 1937 and no later. I'll build later in the game, but I want to build it up as far as I can up to 1930, and then I want to move and shift all my production to building divisions, getting ready for my invasion in Poland, and getting ready that I have a decent army. So I don't want to be building factories then, so I push everything until I can get factories that are see, Düsseldorf was the last one that had 100%. So then I will yeah, and Hamburg. So then I will start with the ones that are 90%, and the ones that are further away from this side of the, from the Allies side of the screen. So I'll move him up, and I'll leave that. I'll just see how that updates. I'm always looking to see, because the game, when it updates, also I wanna when the game updates, it updates over a few days. It's not just immediate. I want to make sure. I also, in this period, you'll see that I start to, where's my logistic wizards? I start to make sure that all these guys are logistic wizards, and I don't care whether they're good at it or not. You know, I don't. Sorry, I'll pick that one. I don't care whether it matches their skills. I'm not worried about that at this period in time. I'm not worried about whether these guys match those skills or whether they, because in the beginning of the game there's no real threat to these countries. As I said earlier, these countries over here, or mainly the countries around you, are democratic, and they have to get a very high belligerence level for them to go to war with you. And Russia's too far away, so I don't worry too much about my armed force, you know, having the exact right commanders. I'm more concerned that each armed force that I have, when I start the game, is the logistics up until 1930, till 1939 almost. Before the war starts, I will then change the leaders. I want to make sure that all my leaders, all my divisions, all the divisions I have logistics leaders in there. And the reason why is because I want to make sure that my IC is, that the supply is very, very low. It's not being used up a lot by my divisions, and it gives me more IC. So that's the part in the beginning of the game that I always like to make sure. The aeroplanes, yeah, I'll split these guys here, and then have this guy as a, I'll pick him. So in the beginning, I'm not too worried about having the right leaders and the right, divisions for the aeroplanes and the, and okay, and I'll pick this one of these guys here for all the right guys. I mean, I'll just pick him. I'm not so concerned about that in the beginning of the game because there's no real war right now. A lot of the beginning of the game is building your ICs, making sure your intelligence is up, making sure you get enough factories. Yeah, so this is my opening move. This is my opening strategy. I'm going to leave it here. I think I'm way over the time. I think I went almost half an hour, so I'm gonna leave my strategy as it is there, and look forward to the next video. The next video, I'll come back in 2 or 3 days. I'll do another video, and please give me some suggestions and ideas of how I've done this, and any strategies you think I should follow. So yeah, until next time, let me just save this. I'm gonna save it as King 1, and also please, if you like this video, please share it and subscribe to my channel.